peeps. Right, today I'm going to do something a little bit different. First of all, before I get started, that's my usual card setup. First of all, I've made some new stencils, created some new ones, so I'm going to show you them to begin with. So we have this. I know it's really early for some people and they'll be cursing me because it's not even Christmas yet, let alone Valentine's or Mother's Day. But some crafters like to get ahead. They may do craft shows or whatever where they need to get their cards made. So I like to be ahead. So with Valentine's in mind, I've done this one that you could actually use as a heart with a loop, or you could use it as a bauble maybe. Now this one, you've also got this bit that's cut out here, so you can apply that and just use the smaller heart inside, or like I say, use that larger heart size depending what you want. And I've also done this heart to go inside. So these can all be used independently or all together. Trying to get as much out of a stencil as we can, you know. So that goes inside there. And I've also done a key. And I thought, well, if we've got a key, then we need a lock. So I did put the keyhole in there as well. So that's that one. That was with Valentine's in mind. Perhaps could do with doing a couple more Valentines, but I don't really know what else you can do other than hearts, really. It's not, I mean, flowers as well, but the next thing is going to be flowers. So these flowers are, these you can use for anything, as you know, Mother's Day, Valentine's, whatever else. I've called this Star Flower because as I was drawing it, I thought, is this going to be a star or is it going to be a flower? But so something a little bit different. Now this one, when I can get it out of the bag, a little bit tacky on the back because of the sticky that's on my mat, my cutting mat. So that's the star flowers. Now these centres come out, as you can see those bits there. Can you? Am I on the? That's it. They do come out, so you can use them with or without. It's up to yourselves, or you can use them independently. If you want them inside, as long as you can match that bit up, you can put it inside. Same with the other two as well. If you want to use them inside, then that's easily done. And then you get that lovely centre in the flower. Okay, so that's my star flower. Just wanted something a little bit different than usual. You know, I try and create things that are a little bit different. Poppies, everybody knows poppies. There's nothing different about poppies. There's no extra bits in this one. It is just a stencil. I thought I'd put some words on, use them or don't, you know, up to the individual. Like I always like to do, I've got little bridges going across to strengthen that as well, because some stencils you get big bits and it can be a bit floppy, so I like to put little bridges across to attach it. Now I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know if it's ginkgo or ginkgo leaf. I'm sure some of you would be quite familiar with these. Ginkgo leaf, ginkgo leaf. Pretty shape, and I thought that would be a nice one to do. Use it, you know, as it is, or add it to other stencils or projects or backgrounds or whatever else. I think they'd make a nice background actually. Next is my rose flower, which I think does actually go. That was the original way that I made it, to be honest. But yeah, you could use that any which way you like. You know, the world's your oyster. So that's the rose. And then this one, I've put them all together. There's the extra star flower centre bit in there. I don't know if you can see that, but There it is. That's the extra star flower bit that comes out the centre. So here we've got the star flower, we've got the rose, we've got the ginkgo leaves, and we've got the poppies. And with that, so it makes a nice bouquet. I thought, thinking of Mother's Day and all the rest of it. I did add with love on this one, so there's words if you want to use them. Mask them off if you don't. And again, that's the extra bit, that's the bit that goes in the centre of the flower if you want to use it or not. I will put that in with the stencils. And that's the one I'm going to use today. So there's the five stencils altogether, but the 4 flower ones, as I say, you've got the 4 individuals, and then I've done a mixture of all of them, shrunk them down and done a mixture of all of them on this one. And I thought today the demo I'm going to do is I'm going to use these, but I'm also going to use this older stencil, which is the Storm in a Teacup, but I'm not going to use the Storm half. I'm just going to use the teacup to put the flowers in. You know, like rather than a vase, just have the flowers in a teacup sort of thing. I think that might look quite cute. So that's what I'm going to work with today anyway. So I just wanted to show you them. So that's the latest bundle of stencils. Let's get them out of the way and take that out of the way. Right, so like I say, my usual card size A5, which is 15 by 21 centimeters, or if you prefer inches, it's 6 by 8 1/4, but 15 by 21 centimeters. The mat, which is going to be a tight squeeze, I might be able to cut it down later. We'll see how much space this stencil takes up. 14 by 20 centimeters, and the top part is 13.5 by 19.5 centimeters. Okay, so obviously we're going to be using a little bit of masking tape and my little blending brushes. Now these, as you know, I use these for my colour cloud inks. You've seen them, they're in the pots like these. I've got many different colours. I've got two boxes of them out now. I've got the lighter colours in this one, darker colours in another. I've just got them set aside for now because I'm not sure what I'm going to be using yet. And as always, these, like I've said before, will have ink already in them. It may be enough in them for me to use without topping up the inks, or I may have to top up with inks, but we'll see. Just to let you know that if I don't top these up, I am using Colour Cloud. Right, so let's begin. And I'm going to start with the flowers because I want them, actually, I want them to overlap the cup. So would I be better off doing the cup first or the flowers first? Go around the flowers. It's a tricky one. I mean, I could do the cup in a really light colour, then the flowers will colour over, I suppose. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the cup first and then the flowers. So let's get that out. And I will be using the extra little bit. Everything's sticking to the bag, and like I say, the mat that you use to stick your Mylar down while you're cutting, it's got it's got like a tacky surface to keep everything in place, and it does sometimes come off onto your card. Right, so I'm going to put that as low down as I can get it because I'm not sure I've got enough space on this card. I think I should have. Oh yeah, I've got quite a bit. I can go up a bit then, don't like having things right on the floor of the card. Right, so I'm going to tape that on. Try and centralise it. My stencils are not always properly centralised. I'll do my best, but that's it. Let's use some of this tape. Actually, I've got some tape here what I used before, so I'm going to use some of that. Stick that there. I'm going to mask that bit off there because I don't want to get rain. This is not going to be a stormy teacup. This is going to be a nice flowery one. So let's mask off that rain. Right, that should hold that in place for now. That's enough, I think. Don't think that will move. No. Right, so I'm going to do, I don't want to lose my little star flower bit, so I'm going to put that there. Right, so let's have a look then. So what colour teacup shall we have? Oh, a pale kind of a colour. Might do a yellow rose, so I'll do a pink. I'll do a pinky coloured cup. Right, let's see what this has got on it. You see what I mean? It's still carrying colour, so I don't really need to top it up. And like I said, I want to try and keep this light. I might top it up later once I've got the flowers in place. I will top the colour up a bit more. I'm going to keep it pale around here. That is, no, I'm going to have to top it up. Yeah, I'm going to have to top that one up. So let's have a look. What colour shall we use? Rose blush or frosty blossom. I'm going to go with the frosty blossom, I think, because it's a slightly lighter pink. Frosty blossom colour cloud. So I'm just going to, yeah, that's a very pale colour, as you can see. And with these inks, like I say, they're lovely and juicy, so you can top them up quite easily. You can start off as pale as you like, but you can build your colour with these. They're great for building your colour. So I am going to put some colour here. This is where the flowers come over. I'll put a drop shadow beneath them anyway, but and once the flowers are in place, like I say, I'll come back to the cup and probably darken it and give it some depth. And these they blend so well over each other, these inks. They're great. They really are great. Now I'm not using watercolour card either, so I'm trying not to get it too wet. Right, that's my cup in place. At least then I know where I'm at as far as the flowers are concerned. Right, let's just put that back in its tube for now. I'll keep them in the tube because I don't like the colours to mix. So that's my cup in place for now. Peel that off there. Try not to rip my card. And I shall come back to that one in a bit. And now the flowers. So what I want to do is I want those to overlap, you see. I want those flowers to come over the edge of the cup, halfway over. I want it to look as natural as possible, like they're actually in there. I think about there will centralise it. It's very close to the edge. Perhaps could do with shrinking this down a little bit. I think what I'll do is I'll probably shrink them down a bit before I send them out to make sure you can get them on your paper. Of course, with any of my stencils, I can make these up to anything up to an A4 size to fit on an A4 size, or I can shrink them depending on people's liking. So bear that in mind, peeps. I will do whatever I can to please. In case you ever want to place an order but you're unsure, thinking the size might be a bit too big, if you don't make A5 cards, if you generally make smaller cards, I can shrink them, I can cut them smaller. I don't cut them ahead of time, I cut them when they're ordered for that purpose. Right, so that's on there. Now I'm going to do these poppies in a red. Where's my red? Now, shall I use Crimson Kiss or Scarlet? Is that one Scarlet? I'm going to go with the Scarlet Woman. I think that's a bit darker. And it's very red. Don't look very red on there, does it? Looks like a pinky red. Ooh, and that's juicy. So I'm going to start with these poppies. And again, you can, if you don't want to get, you know, contaminate colours, you can, and I'll probably will actually, mask off areas as you're colouring. Like that, for instance. I don't want it to get into that rose. So I'll just mask a bit off there, and I don't want it to get on that ginkgo leaf, whatever you call it, but I'm going to put it there. So that's it. Don't contaminate. Now I can go in darker for my flower. And that stops that contaminating in there. Right, let that one dry off a little bit. These inks also, as dark as they look now, they do dry off. They do tend to dry off a little bit. Go lighter when they dry off. Just do this one a little bit darker at the base there. Right, that's the red. So let them dry off, and I'll probably come back to make some darker shades on them. Do you know what? These are lovely little brushes to work with. Perhaps do some more, but they're a little bit smaller. Right, so green. I tend to always use that. What is that one called? I tend to always use this basil leaf, but I'm going to use a different one this time, a lighter one. What's that one? Frosty Jade. I'm going to have a go with this Frosty Jade. Although this has probably already got some colour on it, but let's... Oh yeah, I'm liking that colour. It looks nice on there. So I'm going to want to colour that leaf in that's underneath here. Keep me bits of tape because I will probably come back to it. I've got some leaves there as well. It's a nice subtle colour again. It's I can come back in and darken it if need be. My fire crackling in the background. It's not a real fire, it's just on TV. Just makes the place look warmer, and the cat likes to lay in front of the telly when she thinks the fire's on. And a little bit of darkness on those flowers at the bottom there. So I don't mind overlapping that green on there. It's gone underneath. I've got my brush too wet. Be careful not to contaminate that star flower. And then I'm going to go in with another shade of green, I think. Oh, I still need my brush, don't I? Twit. That was the Frosted Jade. So this time I'm going to try and cover up as much of this flower as I can, so as not to contaminate that. And this flower, oh, I've got a stem there, need to do that. Just a case of just try and be careful what you know, what you colour in. I tend to do it. It's up to you guys whether you do or not, but I tend to mask areas off. I think it helps to keep your picture clean. That's masked off that star flower completely, well, more or less. Then a little bit to mask off that bit of a rose there. See, I've got some leaves, now a leaf there. A little bit there. Some of it's going to go on the petal, tiny bits of the petals, but yeah, hey ho. Let's make it look as natural as possible, don't we? That's there, and then just that little Genko leaf there. There. Right, now we can go in with another shade of green, and I'm going to use the darker green this time. Just for effect. I want the rose to have different colour petals anyway. I didn't do that Genko, did I? That Genko in the other green. Never mind. It can be this green instead. Right. I have no idea what their natural colour is. I've not looked it up. I should have googled to see how they actually look in real life. As far as colour's concerned, I'm aware of the shape because of I've got a die that's very similar to this. Not a die, a stamp. So again, it's just a case of build up your colours. Start off nice and pale, and then just build up your colours as you go along. Try and do a bit of darker colour around the edges of these flowers and things, because it tends to look like you've got a bit of shading here and there, you know what I mean? So try and stick to one edge. Don't want to put too much ink on because it, like I say, it is very juicy and it can get under your stencil. Most of you will probably use your oxides or your distress inks, or your Lavinia inks. So there, we've got a couple of little shades, different shades going on now on them leaves now. So darken this one a little bit because it's a different shade altogether. Right, so that's my leaves done. That's all the foliage done. Right, back in with the red on them poppies because I want them to be a bit darker in places as well. So where did I put that? It was the scarlet one, wasn't it? Actually, let's get a different shade of red. It will make a difference then, won't it? Put a different shade on top. Oh, actually, this one's dark. That's crimson. Well, that is. Oh, that's really dark. Well, that's good then. Ah. Now look at that. I just want to do a little bit of. If you can see, I'm just doing it. It's hard to tell while I've got my hand above the picture, isn't it? But I'm putting dark around the top edge and down those lines to give the effect of shading. Trying to be careful with these brushes because they're a little bit big for small things like this. But you see how I've got that shadow effect, that shading effect. I could have a bit at the bottom, but I've got the green on that now. So just build your colour up, just keep going over until you've got the strength of colour that you want. Try not to go on my leaves. So that's my poppies done. Well, that's, I'll try and remember that. The crimson's darker than the scarlet. Right, okay, so that's them done. So now we've got the rose and the starflower to do. Peel that off carefully because I don't want to tear my paper. Right, so I'm just going to carefully, very carefully, wipe around this excess colour because I don't want it to mingle with the colours in me that I'm going to do the flowers. It's only a damp cloth, so that's marked my paper at the top, but that's alright, I can cut that down a bit. Right, that's it, I don't want that colour contaminating these flowers, you see. So what I'm going to do now is, because the cup is pale pink, and I've got pale pink over there, I don't want to end up with a line across, so I'm going to put some more pink in those to start with. So that whatever colour I put on top is going to be more or less the same. Still going to get a line, I think, because that's overlapping the colour. But I'll do my best to get it to match. The same with the rose. Better than having white and then pink, that would really show underneath. So I'm going to colour them both the same, like that. That's it. Whatever colour I put on top, it'll just blend with it. It'll just blend with that pink. I think I'm going to do. Let's put that in there first of all. Make sure I've got it the right way around. And this is the problem with this. I never know which way it fits. There's no way of really telling, I think. Is that it? Not quite, no. What's that really close bit there? There you go. Done it. I'm going to go in there with this little bit of orange that's on my brush. like that. And then I think I'm going to do this one. I'm going to have this one as a purpley coloured flower, I think. What one shall I use? Let's use a subtle one to start with. Violet Haze, although I do think I've got some dark, I've got some very dark on that. That's almost a blue. Just try and get the violet on without it. If I don't push down too hard, that should be okay. This violet is very subtle. Actually, it looks quite nice having the pink underneath because it's... Oh, I've got the dark coming through now as well. Yeah. I'm going to have a mixture of shades on that. That looks nice. I can move that out of the way now. And that darker shade on the outside of the petals is going to give us a real good depth. Don't matter if you go over your leaves a little bit, it's all part of it, isn't it? Just darken the centre a little bit. And there you can barely see that line now, that's where it joins the cup. There, I'm liking that a lot. And then the rose flower, should we do an orangey yellowy colour? Yellow? A yellow rose? Is that the yellow? That's my yellow. Get rid of that, I don't want to contaminate anything else. Right, okay, yellow, and I am going to top this up because I want it to be quite vibrant. Bright Sunshine. And this one again, see how juicy they are when you push on it, it's so juicy. And that is a real bright yellow. So that is going to be my rose. And it's going to look more orangey because it's already got pink on it, so which is why I wanted to use the brighter yellow. And I'm going to go as dark as I can in the middle. Like that. That was nice and easy, wasn't it? That was a quick, simple one. Make sure them petals are all covered. But it does go darker in the middle. There you go. Right. Reveal. Reveal time. Like I say, I'm going to do some more on that cup because I want to get some depth on that cup. And save me tape and use that again. Are we ready for the reveal? Ta-da! Beautiful. Oh, that's really nice. I'm really pleased with that. Clean my stencil and my little star. Put them together. Out of the way over there. Right, so now I'm going to go back to the teacup. And place it back over there. I just want to darken some of the areas to make it look a bit more natural. It's definitely going to have some shading under the flowers. Might do that with a pencil though. Didn't do very well with that, did I? Let's have another try. That lined up. Stick that side down first, then try and pick this up. Right. Right, back to the pink. I could actually use the red, but I think that'd be too dark. Right, back to my pink brush. I don't know how I'm going to mask these flowers off, because I do need to get the shading underneath. I'm not going to be able to do it, I don't think, so get rid of that. Right, a darker shade of pink. What did I use before? This time we use the rose blush. I think that's a bit darker. Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely a dark pink. Try and keep it lighter on the top of the handle, because it would be. Now I'm going to very carefully try and get in between these flowers. Nothing's perfect in nature, so don't be worried if you go over a little bit. See, I'm trying to make it the same shape as the flower, kind of. So underneath there would be dark. And the ginkgo would be dark in between. And around it, below it. And the cup itself, the cup and saucer, is going to be a dark pink. Keeping the centre light. Because a glazed cup would have a shine on it. This will be the main shine, but it would also have a lighter patch in the middle, because it's rounded. It's just the way shading works. The saucer as well. Don't ever be worried about that sticker that's on your thing as well either. Just paint over it. Just to show my product. I do like to put them on there to show it's my product. But yeah, just paint over it. Don't try and peel it off, because it won't. Right, let's see where that's taken us. I think I'm done with it. Like I say, it will as it dries, it will lighten up a little bit anyway. And there we go. Flowers in a teacup. How pretty is that? Now, What I need to know now is, do I need to put a background in there? Should I use something as a background? Don't know whether to or not. I'd like to put a bit more yellow in there, I think. Don't know. I do like that. I think that's looking rather nice. I'm going to get my white pen for now. Actually, let's use one of these. What that look like in the background, like a rose in the background. You know, just as a really, really faint. Oh, the Ginkgo leaves. Just something. No, that's even the poppies. I mean, that would no. Don't think so. Starflower. I'm going to go with the rose. I'm going to put this rose in the background. I'm going to just have it. There's a bit of interest in the background. Try and keep it as pale as I can. And I'm just going to put it that way on. And I'm just going to try and put ink where... Just do it that way actually, because there's more going on up there. Just try and put the ink where I've not already got ink. And I think if I do it in what do you think? Pale blue, turquoisey blue. Let's try this turquoisey colour. Just gotta try and just really faint for a bit of background interest. Look. You see? I don't know if you can see that, but I will show you in a minute. There's barely any ink on this. Should have, that's it, held it down. I'm going a bit hard because I've got no ink on my thing, on my brush, but I don't want to ink it up and end up with it being too dark. I don't know if anything's coming off on that. Let's try the blue. There is some coming off, but I'm just trying to be uber careful now. I know some colour will come off this. Just adds interest in the background. As you will see in a minute. Don't matter if you go over these leaves a little bit because it won't show on the green. But I don't really want it to go over me flowers. And it literally is just a real faint amount. Just a real small amount. If you do try this at home with any of your stencils, just go very lightly with a brush that's already been used, not one that's freshly loaded. So just literally put it in the spaces where there's no other colour that it can go over that will show up. A little bit there, a little bit there. So I went in between the handle. And then there's a little bit down there. Ta-da! So I will show you. You can actually see it. A little bit of blue in the background there. Nothing too much. Just looks darker in the camera than it does in real life actually. But yeah, a little bit of background interest. And I'm going to trim that down slightly, because I don't want that mess at the top. Actually, let's do a bit of a, we'll do a bit of a shadow. We'll use, no, I won't use purple, I'll use red. Where's my red? Bit of shadow under the cup. There you go. Needs a surface to sit on, don't it? And be floating in the air. Let's cut that bit down. Take a tiny bit off these edges as well. Minuscule amount. Okay. So now, when we layer it up into there, makes that stand out a bit more. Doesn't leave much of a white border, does it? But I suppose I could chamfer that down a little bit as well. And leave a tiny border around like that. Tell you what I'll do. I'll take a tiny bit off this as well. So I've got a bit of a white edge off my card. And literally just a couple of mil. And it will make all the difference, you'll see. So then I've got a little tiny bit more white around my border. Let's just see if that will fit on. Still on there. I could actually go a bit more as well. I think I think that I will. Take off another mil. That's it. No more cooking, because I'll spoil it. Right, let's layer these up. So, hopefully, my glue gun's working okay. My glue dispenser, should I say. So easy to use, it's so much easier pulling this trigger. Literally, you pull the trigger and it squeezes the glue out. There's nothing to it. It's not a heat one or anything. That's just ordinary glue in one of these bottles. Once you've used that original glue up, you can always top it up with your preferred glue. And this is it's just so easy to use. It's easier than squeezing a bottle with your hand. Just takes a lot of pressure off. It does. It takes a lot of pressure off. Squeezing bottles can become quite painful if you got dexterity issues or anything. But that is a game changer. Now I'm thinking whether to do a little bit of colour blending around the edge of that, just to pull it all in. I think I will. I'm going to use that red again because that's got quite a bit on it. I'm just going to go around very, very lightly. Give it some corners and just a little bit of colour on the edges. I know I cut the top off because it had green on it. Well, the red won't cover the green, so I still needed to cut it off. Literally just a tiny bit, especially on your corners. It just tends to just kind of pulls everything in. Like that. And across my corners. So I'll pull everything together. So now I'm going to put that on there. See how it pulls everything together? It's around that stark edge. So we'll glue that down. Easy peasy. That can go on there. Like that. Now I'm going to use my white pen. I might use a little bit of gold as well. I use my gold pen and just to go round the edge of some of these lovely rose petals. Just to give it a bit more depth of colour and whatnot. A bit of sparkle. There's my glitter pens. I do love my glitter pens. Metallic glitter pens. There you see, adds that nice little bit of sparkle, and this one in the middle as well. In the middle of here. You can see it a bit more now, you see. Bit of sparkle. Actually, where's my clear one? Let's use one of these clear ones. This literally just, it is clear ink. It just gives a little bit of sparkle. And I'm just going to use some of that around some of these as well. Just to add a bit of sparkle. Poppy buds are usually quite prickly looking, aren't they? But let's face it, mummies love a little bit of sparkle on the cards. And that's just enough to add to it. You don't always have to have white highlights. This adds to it quite nicely, although I still probably might put some white here and there. See how I've got that little bit of sparkle on there, and I don't know if that picks it up on the camera, if you can see that. Is it picking it up? A little bit of sparkle on there. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Ink's still a bit damp, doesn't want to go over. Doesn't want to draw over. I really must get some more of my bleed proof. Yeah, we'll probably wait till it's your ink's properly dry before you try and put any white highlight on top, unless you're using a bleed proof paint or something. While it's still damp, it don't really want to. It doesn't want to play. There you go. Got some colour in it. Can't hardly see that at all, can you? The poppies are obviously dry now. A little bit of white here and there. That's all it needs. There. A little bit of white highlight here and there. I'm quite pleased with how that's turned out. Yeah, it's a nice stencil. Hoping that'll be popular. There you go, my demo for today. I'm sorry if my hands were over most of that. It's difficult to see when you're painting, but difficult for everyone else to see, but you've got to put your hand over it to do it. So I hope that's been enjoyable for you anyway. And let me know in the comments what you think. Yeah, always nice to have a comment, see what people think. I hope you did enjoy watching that, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.